Okay, we've got to talk about the Nazca mummies. That's right. I've got some new information for you about the Nazca mummies. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, a lot of this information is coming from Thierry Dumont, as close as I can get to pronouncing his name. He's French, and this is an interview, of course, conducted in French. But thanks to the awesome work of Nicholas, a viewer who sent me a translation of, or at least a translated breakdown, or a breakdown, because he speaks French, of this amazing interview. Now we're able, or I am able, to share with you the contents of the interview. And he's got some amazing information. So hat tip to Nicholas. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, so here's Thierry. And if you don't know, Thierry is the foremost researcher, the first guy that was able to get his hands on the Nazca mummies from the Tomb Raiders, specifically, most prominently, Mario. So what does he say in this amazing interview? Well, check this out. At 7 minutes in, Thierry talks about Artemis, a mummy we haven't seen yet. She has 7 body implants and 4 eggs. Thierry mentioned they found some of the mummies with clothes on. It confirms the video about the Citadel, the alien Citadel. That's what we're calling it, or I'm calling it. I love calling it the alien Citadel, and I've shared pictures with you before with the mummy with the clothes on, the armor, the breastplate. Thierry also mentions there are several sites. He only confirms these creatures used technologies. Okay. Mario, the Tomb Raider, was convicted in 2021 to 4 suspended years and 30,000 souls, about $8,000. Thierry is trying to convince him not to sell the artifacts and mummies to pay for his conviction. And, that's going to be a challenge. Mario is going to want to pay that off. And he's going to need to pay that off, and he's got a source of income with those mummies, so why not sell them to a private collector, right? Well, I really hope he resists the temptation, that Thierry is able to talk him out of that, or help him find a way to pay for that in some other way. Thierry talks about a 30 centimeter, 19 minutes in, he talks about a 30 centimeters long 3-fingered hand with an implant. And I've shown you pictures of that before, the giant hand, the giant 3-fingered hand. Actually, there's 3 of them with that gold disc in the hand. Very intriguing, very fascinating. They also did a radiography. Universities were studying it at the time. He said some doctors in Cusco didn't detect any fabrication. As you can see, the bones look real, unlike what people said. 27 minutes in, he talks about the osmium found in Luisa's breastplate. They found 6 symmetrical points of osmium in her plate. He basically says that Luisa could not have been faked by those who found the mummies, because they would have made a lot more money by selling the osmium than by selling the mummies themselves. Yeah, osmium, if you don't know, was only discovered a couple of hundred years ago, but it is found in these implants from 8,000 years ago. And it is the rarest precious metal in the universe, according to scientists, and is used in satellites and cell phones in small amounts. So, it's extremely valuable. And he says that 1 gram of osmium costs about 2,000 USD. Nicholas just checked, and prices vary quite a bit, from 400 to 2,000 depending on the source. For comparison, 1 gram of gold costs between 40 and 80 USD. Wow! So it's so much more valuable than gold. That's amazing. It is the most expensive metal on Earth, osmium. Why would poor fakers use osmium? They wouldn't. That doesn't make any sense. Articulation doctors from the University of Ica confirmed that the hands of Josefina and Maria, the ape hybrid, that's the big one, who has more ape-like features, articulation doctors confirm they are real creatures. They are not cobbled together dolls. close-ups of Oita in Maria. And let's see if I can find that close-up. I mean, we've all seen Maria. Let's see. There's some pictures from the site. There's some close-ups. There you go. There's the close-ups. And I guess that must be the one that we haven't really talked about before, with this really interesting shaped head. I would play it for you, but it's in French. Okay, moving on. No researcher concluded the mummies are extraterrestrial. Terry talks about the Piwais, small creatures that used to live among the Incas. Yeah, and that seems to be borne out by their artwork and their textiles. Indeed, from artwork from around the world, as I've shared with you. Multiple people around the world seem to be encountering these beings, and they may even have lived amongst the peoples. Fascinating, fascinating stuff. The University of San Luis Gonzaga is working in collaboration with American universities. Well, that's encouraging. And the video is a year old, so I don't know what has become of that research in these American universities. I haven't seen anything like that. Thierry talks about the petroglyphs of a tridactyl creature Nicholas shared with me before. And I think, yeah, we've gone over the petroglyphs, I believe. He talks about the iconography between south of Lima and the north of Chile that represents tridactyl reptilian creatures in ceramics, paintings, and fabrics. Apparently, they were very common. Interestingly, he also mentions that there are tridactyl creatures in the fabrics made by the people of the Paracas region. Yeah, this is the Nazca and Paracas region of Peru. That's where the humans born with the elongated skulls used to live. They also had a much bigger cranial volume and eye orbits. They were clearly not Homo sapiens sapiens. Yeah. Those elongated skulls, and I've shared at least one of those with you before. I think maybe two of those. Those elongated skull beings, you're not going to get that with cranial binding. Yeah, you don't get that with cranial binding. So what are they? Are they hybrids? Are they aliens? We don't know. We don't know. But they're not strictly human. Maria is 1,800 years old. The big one. The big one is 1,800 years old. Wuita, Victoria date back, and in Victoria date back to 1,000 years ago. The big hand is 6,000 years old. Older than the Egyptian mummies, Nicholas says. Wow, can you imagine that? That giant alien hand with the 3 fingers and the gold disc is 6,000 years old. That's insane. So does that mean there were waves of these beings of different sizes and aspects and whatever? First maybe the giants and then later the little ones. Fascinating. And of course, we have the 3 giant hands, and I've shared those with you before. Again, a video from Thierry. The site is in the Malpaso area, which means cursed place in English. It's not far from a cemetery. It's surveilled by some locals. Mario is not the only tomb raider who monetized the mummies. A local woman told Thierry she saw a 3-meter tall being in the Malpaso area. Wow. So are these giant 3-fingered beings still around? That's crazy. That's crazy. Within 2 kilometers of the site where the mummies were found. She described the creature to Thierry. He filmed the testimony. She works in a travel agency. She doesn't know the tomb raiders. 57 minutes in, Thierry says that loads of UFOs are seen in the Nazca area. Yeah, no big surprise there, right? Wow, wow. I guess maybe they're checking out the Nazca lines, right? Were the Nazca lines built during that time period when the mummy beings, whatever they were living amongst the people? Maybe if they left at a certain point, the people made those lines to call them back, or sending them a postcard. Interesting stuff. There is a mountain called Cerro Blanco in the northern part of Nazca where people see a lot of UFOs. there are videos on YouTube with a cigar-shaped UFO above the mountain. Okay, well, I've got to find that. Nicholas says, holy effing shit. First time I see it, new mummy found in Mexico. It is a different species. And is that the one I just showed you? That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. It was found in September 21. Okay, well, Nicholas says it's the 65-minute mark. That was the one. That was the one. Okay, I just can't count. I just can't count, guys. 65 minutes, of course, is an hour and 5 minutes. But, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It was found in September 2021 in the state of Guerrero. Man, I can't see that word. In Mexico. Okay, so there are some found in Mexico. Very interesting. It's not just in Peru. They are found in Mexico. Of course, that shouldn't be a surprise since, as we've seen, it's very likely these beings or some similar types of beings were all over the world. It's crazy. It's crazy. It was found in a small sarcophagus inside a mountain. 4 fingers and 4 toes. Very interesting. So a different race or a different breed of hybrid, different strain of hybrid. Fascinating. 4 fingers, 4 toes, as opposed to the 3 fingers and 3 toes of all the others that we know of so far. Wow. Could be older than the Nazca mummies. It was x-rayed. It seems like it was a real being. Artifacts and ceramic were found inside the sarcophagus and around it. The artifacts depict communication between people and the 4-fingered creatures. It was sold to Pedro Garcia, a famous ufologist. At the time of the video, he was doing some DNA analysis. Wow, okay, well, pony up with the DNA, Pedro. Where is that? I have not seen that. I haven't seen any other discussion of that 4-fingered, 4-toed being. So I'm going to have to keep my eyes open for it, and if you see it before I do, let me know. Let me know. But yeah, the artifacts depict communication between the people and the 4-fingered creatures. So multiple creatures. And they were, communicating with them apparently just the same way they were with the 3-fingered beings. Very interesting. Terry answered a question from the chat. Victoria, one of the small mummies, has between 15 and 19% of DNA in common with Homo sapiens. Okay, yeah, so they are hybrid species apparently. Maria, the big one, between 25 and 33% human. Very interesting. So the small ones have less human DNA than the big ones. Chimpanzee, by contrast, has 98 to 99% genes in common with humans. Banana, 45%. So the small beings and Maria have less genetically in common than a banana than to humans. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Nicholas says this strongly suggests that these beings have some alien DNA. Yeah, it sure sounds like it. It sure sounds like it. And again, thank you so much to Nicholas for providing this breakdown. I tried to watch it with the auto-translate on, and the auto-translate was so bad, I just gave up. But I will link to the full video, and you can watch it at your leisure. But isn't this amazing information? We've got the giants are over 6,000 years old, which could explain why we only have the hands. Who knows what has happened to their bodies in 6,000 years. And we have information that there may still be the giants around. So the witness that saw the 3-meter tall being, right? And we have learned that it's not just in Peru, that it goes all the way up to Mexico, and that there are 4-fingered beings and 4-toed beings as well that were in communication with the people. So just amazing, amazing information. How is this not all over mainstream news, guys? How is this not everywhere? I mean, Thierry should be making the rounds on all the major news stations, and, so should all the researchers and scientists who have looked at these beings and presenting their evidence. And this should be in the New York Times. This should be on Fox and CNN. This is UFO disclosure, guys. It is, but only if people see it, right? If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Well, right now it's not making much of a sound, guys. So, help me get the word out. Share this video in Terry's full video and all the other stuff that's available to us right now from the amazing research that these people are doing. And thank you so much, Terry, for doing this. And again, to Nicholas for the translation. And yeah, so let me know, guys, what you think about this amazing information. Are you as blown away by this information as I am? Because I think this is gangbusters, guys. I think this is gangbusters. So yeah, so please give me a big like if you enjoyed this video. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to share this video, again, that'd be really helpful. And if you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please feel free to grab a t-shirt or a coffee mug. See the merch store below. Or become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars. And I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos to check out on the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.